What up, folks? What up, folks? Can you hear me out there? What's going on? Nick Battle, aka Nino's Corner, man. Look, man, today we're gonna do the Texas versus TCU uh game recap. And you guys know how I like to do it with the stats, the NCN number. So that's the Nino's Corner number stats and looking at the explosive plays, successful plays, all that good stuff. Maybe if we have enough time here, we'll talk about the recent commitment of four-star cornerback, which is Warder or Mac. We got the flip, from Florida over to Texas, but that's if time is permitting. One thing, folks, that I do want to talk about here in this game, of course, we understood that we lose Jonathan Brooks here, basically for the remainder of this season and a lot of next season as well, due to a torn ACL. Texas gets Quinn back, so I think we saw the offense how we were able to move the ball with those short intermediate routes, something that we so desperately needed. But we did lose Jonathan Brooks in the process. This is an opportunity for Texas to have Cedric Baxter as well as Jaden Blue, just shine. So we've seen, CJ Baxter do some good things here. We've seen Jaden Blue, every time he touches the ball, he does really good things here at Texas. I'm excited to see what he can do for this team. We did see Texas. One wrinkle that I saw Texas do in this last game was they ran from 21 personnel with Jonathan Brooks and Jaden Blue in the backfield. Also Jaden Blue and also CJ Baxter in the backfield. So I thought that was pretty awesome to see as well. So that's just an extra wrinkle that is in that offense. And I think Texas is hopefully going to incorporate some more of that here, especially with the loss of Brooks. Cape says that he likes how Sark went back to the exact same play after Quinn threw the interception. Yeah, that was easy money. That was easy money. I think Quinn just read the play wrong, didn't get enough air underneath that ball. I mean, that was easy money, right? And so he went right back to the play. But actually, just speaking of that play, man, kudos to the culture that is being set here at the University of Texas. You want to talk about a winning culture. A winning culture is your quarterback throwing an interception, you going for a tackle, missing the tackle, getting back up, and chasing the guy back down 30 yards down the field, punching the ball out. And then the guy who recovered it was the guy who the ball was going to, and he hustles back down and runs a good 50 or 60 yards back to where the ball got punched out and recovers the ball. That is winning culture. Those are the plays that define whether or not a team wins, games that are one possession, or loses those same games. So that was an outstanding play. Cape says it is the single greatest play in the last decade. I ain't gonna say all that. We won some pretty important bowl games. I look at the bowl game against Georgia. That was a pretty important play too. I wouldn't say the greatest play, but it was up there. It's one of the best plays that we've seen here from this team as far as a culture standpoint in a while. Look, other things I liked about this. If you don't like DJ Campbell, man, I don't know what's wrong with you. DJ Campbell, the his tenacity is something that is outstanding. We have seen this on this team. He has some nastiness to him. Reminds you a lot, folks, of Casey Studdard when you're talking about just raw nastiness and physicalness. I saw him getting into it with the defensive lineman there for TCU, putting his hands in his face and everything. I love it, but big guy got to watch out for that, man, because if those refs see him put his hand on that guy's face, man, they might call a 15-yard penalty on us. But you can't knock just how physical and how nasty he is as an offensive lineman. Folks, other things that I want to talk about in this game. I want to go, just over the stats. Man, losing Brooks is huge. Losing Brooks is huge, man. However, this team is going to have to shift their running style to either compensate for what Baxter can do in the running game, or if we do incorporate Jaden Blue a lot more in his offense, I think he can do great things with the offense that we have. Jaden Blue has some patience too. Nobody is as patient, running the ball as Brooks was. Brooks was just an outstanding running back. Probably going to be the first running back taken off the board here in the draft if he would have stayed healthy. But that's something that we just have to go through here as Texas fans. You want your team to be completely healthy here going into this stretch of the season. Texas playing for the opportunity to play in the Big 12 championship game. Got to get past these next two games against Iowa State and Texas Tech, which I am confirmed, folks. I will be at the Texas Tech game. So if you guys see me there, holla at me. Me and the wife are going. So it should be a good time. So my man Miguel says, Nino, Sark was trying to grind it out until Brooks got effed up. I think he has figured out that teams will just go for jailbreak pass game for now on. It's not sitting on elite. Yes. Is trying to keep the defense off the field, bro. Yes. I agree with you too, man. I agree with you too. Teams know that they can't run against us. We have one of the best run defenses in the country. Pretty much stood up by Sweat and also Murphy, in the middle there, folks. And so having two of the best defensive tackles in the country is going to allow us to stop the run. Also, guys that are really good in run support as well are Baron Sorrell is a really good run stopper at that edge position, and so is Ethan Berg. Those guys are pretty strong guys. And then just our reinforcement that comes in after those guys. I mean, you're looking at guys like Broughton. Vernon Broughton has been a player this year. Terrell Carter got his first sack. Also Alfred Collins as well. So we have fortified that defensive line position, and it looks great here at Texas. Also having the linebackers as well, having the guy like Anthony Hill and having Ford. I'm telling you, man, Blackwell, those guys are doing outstanding things there at the linebacker position as well. We are stopping the run. Even our cornerbacks are really good in run support. Look at Ryan Watson, what he does against the run as a cornerback. It's truly outstanding. And then look at the safeties. They're really good in the run as well. The things that we lack at is just the deep ball, getting passed on. And that's some things that we have to get better as a team. However, this is nitpicking after a win. Look, folks, we're 9-1. We're 9-1. It's the best that we've been here in the last decade. Texas is in a prime position to do some great things here. We go to Iowa State and win that game, and then we come back home and everything's on the table against Texas Tech. We beat Texas Tech in Iowa State. We are playing for the Big 12 championship game, and if we win that game, folks, everything is on the table. Texas has done everything that we have set out to do if we continue to press one game at a time. Cape also says Sark has to figure out the best way to keep a lead. Is to just keep scoring. Hey, I'm with you. I've been saying this since day one. Sark has the talent on this team. I think that can mirror exactly what the 2019 LSU Tigers had, right? Now, I'm not saying that we have a Jamar Chase. Nobody has a Jamar Chase. Justin Jefferson, right? He had those guys on offense. We got Xavier Worthy, who I'm not saying he's not that kind of guy. He's not those guys. I'm not going to say he's not that kind of guy. He's not. Chase was a different animal, right? I mean, he's just a different animal. He's probably the best wide receiver in the league right now. Jefferson, also a top wide receiver in the league right now. Xavier Worthy has potential to do that, but we have Xavier Worthy. We have Adonai Mitchell. We have JT Sanders. And then you have Jonathan Brooks, who is the best running back in the country prior to going down with an injury. You got Quinn Ewers, who has all the talent in the world. And we have a really good offensive line. I think our offensive line might be better than what LSU had at that time. But what did LSU do? They kept scoring points. It didn't matter if it was Middle Tennessee or if it was Alabama. They were going to put 40 plus on you every freaking game. And I think that's what this team needs to do, because they need to be able to keep the foot on the gas. However, in defense of Sark saw in those last few drives that defense was not standing up to that TCU offense, and he had to do something. So what did he do? He decided to run the ball and keep the possessions away from TCU. Let's look at the comment from Miguel. He says, Cape, the best to keep scoring is to slow the game down and grind it out and score on long drives. If they go too pass happy and actually score, then it turns into a horse race. I don't want that. And, that's what I'm kind of saying too, Miguel. However, we got the players that can't go into a horse race. I don't know if TCU can keep up with that. But that's the slippery slope. That's the slippery slope. We gotta find that fine balance. That's the complementary football piece. Teams can't run the ball on us. So what teams are doing, they're going to say, look, we're going to start running and we're going to pass the ball 45 to 50 times on you and see if your secondary, which is the weak part of your defense, see if that can beat us. That's what teams are starting to do. That's what Kansas State did. That's what TCU, did. they tried to impose their will and run the ball. Once they realized that we're a team not to be messed with in the running game, you can't do that. They stopped that and they began to pass the ball. And once they began to pass the ball, we started to see exactly how well a team could move against us if they decided to no kidding pass the ball and go quick and neutralize our defensive tackles by not giving them the opportunity to rush the passer or stop the run and be disruptive. So good game plan all the way around by TCU, just not good enough to compete against Texas. But folks, let's go ahead and let's get into these stats, man. You guys know I love my stats. I love my stats. So let's go ahead and get into these stats, man. Oh, wrong screen. Bam. There we go. Yeah, let's go. Hey, folks, if you want to look at these stats on yourself, man, go to ninoscornersports.com and you'll see all the videos, all the stats. You'll see the ticker and everything for the next game, the Twitter feed that we got going on. Just my boy 40, we got him on the list too, man. And my sponsors, BetUS is a sponsor. So look, folks, you go to betus.com. Just type in the code Nino's Corner, get yourself 125% sign up bonus, folks. That's free money. Other sponsor, folks, is going to be Manscaped. You go to manscaped.com, type in Nino's Corner, get yourself 20% off from free worldwide shipping. And I got a new sponsor here too that I need to actually record their drop here, but I will do that tonight. It's an apparel company. But yeah, folks, let's just go ahead and let's just take a look at the stats here and see what we got. If you go and take a look let's start at the running back position and let's look at for the game. Let's look at Jonathan Brooks, man. He is the bell cow of this team. He is the guy that carried this team, and this is his last game of the season. Man, this sucks for Jonathan Brooks because he was doing so good against TCU. 69.53 NCN rushing, Nino's Corner number rushing number, 84.64 in the passing side of the house. As well. Folks, 45 to 50 points is around your average. He bested both of those significantly. He's playing at such an elite level right now. Sad to see him go down. 21 rushes for 104 yards, 4.95 yards per carry, which is honestly, it's the third lowest rushing yards per attempt he had this entire season. The first was against Rice, where he didn't start and didn't really get into his groove. The second one was against Bama. But then from there on, folks, you're looking at 7.8 yards carry, 5.8, 10.8, 5.8, 4.95, 6.13, 5.09, then 4.95 against TCU, which does have a good defense. Out of those 21 carries, man, 5 first downs there for Jonathan Brooks at a 0.23, so a 23.8% first down per attempt rate, 2 touchdowns, man. So a touchdown rate of 9.5%. So basically 1 out of every 10 touches, he got a touchdown in this game. 1 explosive play in the running game, which is a play of 15 yards or more in the running game. So about a 5% XP per attempt rate. And 9 out of his 21 attempts were successful plays, so 42.9%. So about 43% for his successful play per attempt rate. No fumbles. Jonathan Brooks has only fumbled the ball 1 time this year, and that was in the last game against Kansas State. And, catching the ball this week. 3 targets, 3 receptions, 74 yards. Okay? 3 targets, 3 receptions, 74 yards, 25 yards to catch, 25 yards to target, of course, because he didn't drop the ball, and 2 first downs out of those 3 catches. Man, he had an outstanding game. That's Jonathan Brooks for you, man. You want to look at somebody who is an outstanding player, a guy that's going to do great things here at Texas for next year as well, too, since he is hurt now. It looks like he'll probably be back this year, folks. Next year, I'm sorry. Which honestly, I'll say that here for the last piece of this this podcast. But let's go to the next person. Let's look at CJ Baxter, man. Number 4, CJ Baxter, our freshman running back here. 32.85 for the NCN number, folks. So he had 18 rushes for 61 yards at 3.39 yards per attempt and 2 first downs out of those 18 attempts for 11% first down per attempt rate. You want that number to be about 30%, folks. You want it to be about 33% actually. So like 1 out of every 3 plays is getting the first down. So we got to get that better, man. That has to get better. So no touchdowns this game. No explosive plays. 5 successful plays out of the 18, so a 27.8% successful play per attempt rate, no fumbles, 1 target, 1 reception for 1 yard. So CJ Baxter is going to be called on a lot in this next game. He's going, not this next game, but for the rest of the season. We're going to see the maturation process of CJ Baxter and just how much he's going to be a factor in this season. You're going to see a lot of him and a lot of Jaden Blue as well. And so Jaden Blue is another guy that we'll talk about later on here in the podcast. Let's look at the receiving side of the house. Let's look at A.D. Mitchell. You know what I'm saying? Adonai Mitchell, man. Number 5, Adonai Mitchell. 6'4", 196 pounds. Mo City Mitch, man. What a hell of a game Adonai Mitchell had. NCM receiving 65.24 for the game. 3 receptions on 6 targets, 61 yards, 20.3 yards per attempt. So 20.3 yards per reception. 3 out of his 3 catches were for first down. So 100% of his catches, first downs or touchdowns. 1 touchdown, but none better. No catch better than that catch on the last drive that allowed Texas to take the game by getting that first down and allowing us to basically run the ball 3 times and end the game. A.D. Mitchell has been godsend for this team. Let's see what he's done here for the whole season, man. For the whole season, a 70.15 NCN receiving number, folks. You're talking about a truly outstanding wide receiver here at the University of Texas. You got to love A.D. Mitchell, man. Those 40 catches, 637 yards at nearly 16 yards a pop, 34 first downs on those 40 receptions, 85% first down per reception rate. 9 TDs so far this year, folks. He's catching TDs at a 23%, 22.5. So let's just say 23% catch rate. He is catching a touchdown and 10 explosive plays. So receiving explosive plays, folks, I say are plays that are 20 yards more. Very, very, very aggressive when it comes to the offensive side of the ball because the offenses are so much better than what they were years ago, folks. So I tend to lean on that aggressive side when it comes to the offensive side of the ball. But yeah, 10 explosive plays and 38 out of those 40 catches were successful plays, folks. So if you're looking at the successful play per reception rate, 95% of his receptions are successful plays. And you're saying, Nino, what are successful plays? Successful plays are on first down, you're getting at least half the yardage on first down. On second down, you're getting at least 70% of the yardage on second down to get a first down. And on third down and fourth down, you're getting at least 100% of the yardage needed to get a first down on third and or fourth down. Those are successful plays. Mo City Mitch does that at a 95% rate. Outstanding. 111 yards a yak. He's not a big yak guy. So yak per reception, yards after catch, folks, 2.75 yards. Yak per reception. So he's more the guy that's going to move those chains and get in the end zone. You don't see him running the ball a lot after the catch. He's going to be your boundary guy on the sideline, on the boundary that catches the ball, perfectly placed ball on the sideline. You're not going to see him running away from people. That's just not what he does. He has gotten 30 defensive pass interference yards calls here, which is great. And he's only had 1 drop here for the season. Outstanding. Out-freaking-standing. So that is A.D. Mitchell. Let's go to Worthy right now. Man, Worthy is quietly having a really good season. And I say quietly, but look at his numbers, 757 yards total for the year. Worthy's going to get 1,000 yards for the season. He is, folks, and I can't wait for it. But he is quietly having a season that we were just like, man, Worthy's balling out right now. But you would not know it because he's doing it just so quietly because we do have other help here in the team. And that's when you're starting to see that we have 2 NFL wide receivers on this team and an NFL tight end on this team. Some NFL offensive linemen on this team, and you're seeing the best of Xavier Worthy. X-Men is doing his thing against TCU, 51.91 NCM receiving. Hey, folks, those targets went up. 13 targets this game. When Quinn's back, that's his guy. 13 targets, 10 receptions on those 13 targets for 137 yards, folks. Out of those 10 catches, 6 were for first down, so 60% first down per reception rate. 1 explosive play, meaning the catch for 20 yards or more. And 10 successful plays. So 10 out of those 10 catches were successful plays. 100% rate. Can't beat that. Gotta love it. And also, folks, yak, 55 yards a yak. Great. Great, folks. So 5.5 yards a yak per reception. Xavier Worthy is just that guy, folks. Just that guy. 50.08 NCN receiving number, 88 targets, 59 receptions, 67% catch percentage, 757 yards. 34 out of his 59 catches for first down, so a 57.6% rate. 4 touchdowns so far this year, 11 explosive plays, folks. So at about a 19% XP per reception rate and 43 successful plays out of those 59 catches. His rate there, folks, is 72.9% successful play per reception. He is killing it. 409 yards a yak. For the season, 6.932 yards per yak per reception. And, look, we just compared that to Mitchell's. It's like 2.27 or 2.7. So, yeah, it just shows that Worthy gets a lot of yards after catch, man. He's really good at that. And defensive pass interference charge. I had it updated. For some reason, it didn't update. But he should have about 30 as well. He had 4 drops this year. Those things have to get cleaned up. But X-Men is X-Men. He's having a hell of a season. It's what you got to love about him. I'm not going to go to Whittington, even though he probably had to play the game. But he didn't hit the box score when it comes to receiving the ball. But I will talk about JT Sanders. Excuse me, folks. JT Sanders, man. Really good season for him this year. 48.25, 4 receptions on 5 attempts, 47 yards, 3 first downs out of those 4 receptions. So 75% first down per reception rate. No touchdowns this game. I think I had 1 touchdown for the entire season. No explosive plays. So no catches of 20 yards or more. 3 out of his 4 catches were successful plays. 16 yards a yak, folks, and no drops, no fumbles. So Worthy. Sanders is having a really good season as well. He's one of the top tight ends in the country. I think now that we're seeing that he is healthy, we're seeing that his blocking has, no kidding, increased a lot. The special plays when it comes to catching the ball, him and Quinn have a great chemistry as well. We're starting to see that happen too as well. So you got to love what you're seeing from JT Sanders. Next, folks, let's take a look at the offenses or Quinn. Let's check out Quinn first. Quinn for the game, man. He didn't play those 2 games, but TCU 22 out of 33 for 317 yards, 1 touchdown, 4.5% rate TD per completion, 1 pick, 4 explosive plays, passing plays that are 20 yards or more, 4 of those, for a rate of 18.2% for the game. And 18 out of those 22 completions were plays that were successful in nature, folks. You're looking at an 82% successful play per completion rate. Quinn's numbers here for the year. Quinn missed 2 games, and he has better numbers than he already had last year. So that tells you the kind of season Quinn's having. Quinn has been that steady calm for us, folks, and it's been great to see his maturation process with this season. He's throwing at a really high rate as well. So 173 completions, has more completions than he had last year and less attempts, which is exactly what you want, man. He's doing a great job. 2,232 yards passing, 14 touchdowns compared to 15 for last year, 4 INTs compared to 6 for last year, 31 explosive plays at a 17.9% explosive play per completion, a little bit down from last year. And 128 successful plays, a little bit down also from last year, 74% compared to 78% for last year. But Quinn has been that steady calm just for this team, man. Something that you got to like. I don't think Texas fans really appreciated how much we needed Quinn Ewers, right? And sometimes it's just having that steady hand is what this team needs. I'm glad this team has him back. Can't throw those interceptions like it did before. But look, I expect all that to, just to kind of pipe down here for the next game. Let's take a look, folks, I want to look at, no kidding, the stats. Now, let's look at the NCN offensive numbers. So for the game, 59.71. This is in line with what Texas is for the season. Before Quinn got hurt, our NCN number was in the 59-60 range, 59.71. The 2 weeks that we had Murphy starting, 38.64 against BYU, 46.66. Those are, well, first, BYU game was a below average number, 45 points being about the average, and 46 is right about the average number here for a team. So we were either average or below average when we had Murphy playing the game. Nothing against Murphy, folks. Just that was his first two starts. You saw he did progress and get better here for the next game against Kansas State. But it's just the ball security was one thing that we had to worry about when he was in the game. Now, if you take a look at Quinn here against TCU, a 59.71 NCN offensive number. His successful play rate is 44%, which is kind of in tune with what we've done all season. 482 total yards for the game, 3 touchdowns. Only allowed three tackles for for loss, no sacks, folks. 2 turnovers for the game. We had a turnover in downs, and also an interception by Quinn. And our offense had 4 penalties, right? And so that's some things we got to clean up. Mind you, Christian Jones had a penalty for a false start. Might have been the penalty of the day that actually saved his team. I don't know why. So Sark took the points. Sark finally took the points, man. So shout out to Christian Jones for having the false start and Sark taking the points. NCN defensive scores, folks. Our defense has been playing at a pretty elite level. They've gotten a little bit, I would say, worse over these last couple of games. But the only thing about the Texas defense that we have to worry about is we know that they're going to be able to stop the run. We got to be able to stop the pass. But, for this season, again, 45 points, is the average, 45 to 50 points, 50.1. So just right above average there. The SPR, the defensive successful play rate, 45%. They only allowed 3 TDs, folks. They had 3 tackles for loss. We had 3 sacks, no fumbles, 1 interception, 1 fourth down stop, and only 1 penalty. So defense has been playing pretty clean. As you can see here, we always talk about what PK did over the first 3 years. 44.86 points on the NCN defense for the first year, and that was bottom third of the league. We go to the top third of the league, and our NCN defense goes to 51.75. Well, not top third of the league, top third of college football. And this year, we're playing at a pretty elite level at 58.69. You can already see we've allowed less touchdowns than we did over the last 2 years. And you said that trend's going down, 42 touchdowns to 32, now to 20. Outstanding by this defense, and playing more games in both of these and still allowing less. Outstanding. The tackles for loss, we will get there, folks. I think we're going to get to this number here around 55 or so. We'll be there. We got 26 sacks, which were on pace to best last year, and we'll probably double what we had from 2021. I expect this team to get about 6 to 8 more sacks here in this season. Fumbles, folks, we have 5 fumble recoveries, 11 interceptions. We have bested our number from last year and the year before last. 9 fourth down stops, which, honestly, this metric can be a little misleading. Teams aren't going for it on fourth down a lot for us now. They understand that it's hard to get fourth downs against us. So 9 fourth down stops is a lot, but it's great because the teams aren't trying to really go at us as much as they used to. And only 14 penalties on defense. Outstanding. All right, folks, let's take a look at the explosive plays. Well, first off, let's look at these successful plays here. So the successful plays, folks, for the offense side of the house, 14 successful rushing plays out of 41 rushing attempts, 18 successful passing plays out of 33 passing attempts, folks. A 34% SPR for rushing, a 54% SPR for passing. You want your successful plays to be the 45 to 50% range as well. We got to get that up for the rushing side of the ball. Hasn't been really that well for their entire season. Good against Wyoming, good against Kansas, good against Houston. Good against BYU, good against Kansas State. TCU, look, that was a dud for us. We got to get that number better. We got to rush the ball better. And then the SPR total rate about 44% here for the game. Okay. So here for the season, 41% SPR rushing, which is a lot less than what we had in the previous 2 years at 48%. 41 for passing in 2021, 45 in 2022. This year, we're above that at 46.7%. And the total, we're at 44.1, and which is lower than the last 2 years. But we're 9-1. We can deal with it. Next one, folks, let's look at explosive plays. And if I'm looking at the explosive plays, folks, man, explosive plays here for the game against TCU. 1 rushing explosive play, which is the second lowest behind the game against Bama. So out of the 41 attempts, only 1 explosive play, which is a rushing play. 15 yards or more. Now, from the passing side of the house, we had 33 passing plays, 4 explosive plays in the passing game, which is around the average for what we had for the season for the most part. The explosive play rate for rushing is 2%. That's got to be better, folks. You want that around 10. And also for the passing side of the house, around 12%. But for the entire game, about 7%. Right. And so those are things that we got to get better. If we're looking at the explosive play yards, rushing 22 out of our 165 yards or explosive play yards, meaning that 13% of our rushing yards came from plays that were explosive in nature. Now, from the passing game side of the house, 317 yards total, 173 explosive play yards, around 43% of those passing play yards came from explosive plays, which are plays that are 20 yards or more. Rushing is 15 yards or more. Now, just looking here for the season, folks, explosive play total 67, less than what we've had in the previous 2 seasons, but we don't need all those because we're playing a lot more complementary ball here. But when it comes to the explosive play rushing rate, about 8%, which is on par with what we had the previous 2 seasons. So as a totality for this team, we're doing it for the season. Some games can be better. Like last game could have been better. And then from the passing side of the house, we're looking at 11.3%. We've gone down from about 17%, 21, 12%, 22, and now this year 11.3%. But the rate totals 9.6%, which is on par with last year at 10% as well. So, folks, that is all the stats from the previous game against TCU. Let me look at these comments. I missed comments. Cape goes, what's Iowa State's strength on offense? I know they've always been good on defense, but Sark has basically figured out their 3-3-5 scheme. I'm not gonna say he's figured it out yet. They're always tough games. TCU, actually Kansas State tried to utilize a 3-3-5. Iowa State does it every year. It's going to be interesting. I'm not sure exactly how this team is going to do it. This team has to think and dunk. Sark has to understand that it's not about the big play for this game against Iowa State. We got to be able to take what the defense gives us and march down the field methodically to get touchdowns. So Larry Hillman says, I think Baxter can do it, and Blue can too if they figure a way to get him on the outside. I mean, if he turns the corner, his burst is elite. He isn't that effective on the inside stuff. I want to push back on you, Larry, on the inside stuff. He hits the hole hard. He does. And so he just has a little bit more juice than the other guys. If Blue can get into the hole at a quicker rate and then be forced one-on-one with a linebacker, I like his chances against a linebacker because he has great wiggle as well, man. So I like Jaden Blue to not only be a force on the outside, I think he can be a force on the inside as well too, because he does hit the hole hard and he's not a small guy. Jaden Blue is not small, folks. People want to make him the guy who is a replacement for Keelan Robinson once he leaves. I think he's much more than that. I think Jaden Blue is much more than that. He's a bigger guy. He's one of the fastest guys here on the team. He's 6 foot. He's about 195 to 200 pounds. And he's not a small guy. He might be larger than 200 pounds, to be honest, which let me check just to make sure I have his official weight right. But he is a bigger guy and he's a fast guy as well. So he's 6 foot, about 195 pounds. Okay. So he can run the ball outside, inside as well. I think he's going to be dangerous when he gets the ball. Corey Baker says, are they elite if teams can throw on us? Talking about our defense. Our defense is playing at an elite level. Every defense is going to have something to where teams are going to do something on them, even the elite of elite defenses. Georgia can get passed on too. When you do something extremely well, there's going to be an opportunity for somebody to negate something that you don't do as well on defense. It is hard to field a team that every phase of the team is a Trevontre Sweat or a Byron Murphy, to have those caliber guys across the board. Even on the great Alabama defenses, you had guys that were, let's say, for instance, you might have a great lineman, but next to him, this guy's good, but he's not like the others, but he's good. And I think that's what we have in our secondary. We are starting to get that talent here in the secondary. Derek Williams is young, but he's a stud. He's a boss. Texas has other guys, like a Warren Roberson as well, who's in the on the team right now. I like also Jelani McDonald. They have guys that are in the wanes there that are ready to do some things. Secondary for next year, a guy like Manny Muhammad. You couple him with a Terrence Brooks and Ryan Watts coming back, and even though we're losing Barron, guess what? We got Jalen Gilbo, who is playing outstanding as well. I mean, he is a baller, folks. Gilbo is going to be one of those guys that we're going to be like, man, we didn't have too much of a drop off from Barron once Barron leaves, if any. He's that good, folks. I don't think people understand that he's one of those guys that has a nasty attitude. But to answer your question, Corey, I understand exactly what you're saying. Maybe elite might not be the word. We're damn good defense. We're one of the top defenses in the country for a reason. Do we have deficiencies? Yes, just like any other team, we have deficiencies. But a lot of teams would like the defense that we have. My problem is, can we get our offense to score a lot of points to help that defense out to where we just blow teams out? And we have the capability to do it. We have the capability to put teams away. But when are we going to start doing it? When are we going to start doing it? Paxton says, "What's up, Nino? What's up, Paxton? Paxton, I have a question. Yeah, man, Paxton, shoot the question, bro. Get Red in there too. Corey, I'm with you. But one thing about Red, once we have that his package, like the Wildcat package, Savion Red needs to get north and south real quick. And it's kind of weird to see him not get north and south real quick because he is a physical runner. He's a very physical runner. And so you see him kind of dance a little bit in the backfield. If he gets north and south real quick, that fourth down play that they're in the Wildcat with him, that could have been a first down if he gets north and south, and he didn't. So, but I love Savion Red though. Look, I saw him play in high school. He was outstanding. He was the only person on his team. He was at Grand Prairie, if I'm not mistaken. But like he was the guy. Like if that team didn't have him, I don't know where they'd be. He was that guy that played quarterback, running back, you name it. He played defense too, I think. But for fact, he played quarter. He was the best athlete on the team. He was so much of an athlete. We started him out here last year at wide receiver, and as you can see, once the running back room got a little thin, moved him back to running back, and he's been a guy that has been very fruitful for us in that package, and did some great things also against OU with that pass that he had in that package as well. So Sark uses wrinkles out of that passing package. One thing I do want to talk about wrinkles in the package is pause is can't believe I just said that is we use the jumbo package a lot, right? Having Agbo number 80 as the second tight end. And we bring that in to have extra blocking here for the passing plays to allow Quinn to go deep, or extra blocking for the running plays. And it's been very successful here for the University of Texas. One thing I do want to see, though, teams are not expecting Agbo to do anything but block. I would love to see Sark throw a wrinkle in that passing, in that personnel package to send out Agbo for a pass. Teams would not expect it because every time they turn the tape, he's there to block. If he fakes like he's blocking, then goes out for a pass, I'm telling you that pass going to be wide open because nobody's expecting Agbo to do anything but come in and block. I want to see that wrinkle with Agbo inserted into that jumbo package. Stephen G. Hey, Stephen, what's going on, man? Says Boomer fan here. May Brooks get healthy and injuries. Yes, I know, man. Look, Brooks is a bell cow. Losing him sucks, man. And I just hope he has a speedy recovery. Yeah, and then Corey says yes, and Keelan Robinson too, which I think Keelan must have been hurt. I didn't see the press conference today from Sark, but he didn't play at all. He didn't play at all. And I noticed that Texas used Jaden Blue last week a lot, and they had him in that 21 personnel package. Not last week, but yesterday. Well, Saturday, I'm sorry. And they had him in a 21 personnel package with Brooks in the field and also Baxter. And I'm wondering, are we going to see more of that in the upcoming game? So I gotta watch the game some more. I watched the game halfway through again to track some more metrics, but I'm going to finish watching that game here tonight just to see how many times they use that 21 personnel package. I watched I think the first half. I think I already saw them use like 4 or 5 times already, which is pretty encouraging. Lon Bean goes, before everyone tells us how god awful their offense is, just say we will make them look like a top 10 offense before the game is over. We are what we are. I'm not picking, just the way it is. We've done that quite a bit. Oh, he must be a Sooner fan. I see that shirt he has up there. Paxton goes, Nino, why is the secondary so slow? I know it's a bland question, but what's the deal? It's the athletes. Um, it is the athletes. I mean, like, look, it's not that they're slow. It's just look, they are recruiting the athletes that they want in the secondary. And I think if you want to see exactly what they want in a guy in the secondary, look no further than Derek Williams. Look no further than him. Speed, athleticism, like physicality. That's what they want. Those are the quality players that they want in that secondary. And as you can see, he's playing a lot, right? Because that's who they want. They want that to represent the team when it comes to being in the secondary. They want that caliber of folk in there. But we just don't have a lot of those guys on this team. We have fast guys in Keaton Crawford, who's really good special teams player, special teams ace. Sometimes it seems like he gets a little lost in the secondary. Catalan, like he's another guy that he just can't stay healthy. Taft is always in the right spot at the right time, but he's not the most athletic guy. But I love Taft. Taft's a baller, man. Earned every stripe he has in this team. He's earned it. He's a baller. You got to love what Taft is doing, man. He is showing up every game and doing things that nobody probably would have ever thought that he would have done as a walk-on coming here at Texas. But we just don't have the caliber of player, Baxter. Not yet. We don't have a lot of Derek Williams running around. Now, they have recruited to get those guys here. Terrence Brooks, Manny Muhammad, Warren Roberson, McDonald. Getting a Wardell Mack is outstanding, right? Santana Wilson. If Kobe Black decides to commit here to Texas, those are the quality of players that this staff wants here, and they're bringing in to reassure that we have the best talent here on this team to move forward into the SEC. So we just don't have the no-kidding speed yet in this team in the secondary. We got it everywhere else. But the secondary is still a work in progress, and Texas is doing their thing on that. What is this? Lon Bean says, honestly, I thought BG would be a good coach just because of how ready he was as a player. Oh, Blake Gideon. Yeah, Gideon. BG was undersized with no speed, but was always in the right spot to make plays. Yeah, that's true. The guys are in the right spot. They just don't have the speed, man. For the most part, they're in the right spot. Look at Taft. Taft is always in the right spot. He's always in the right spot. That's why he's made plays. And so, but Derek Williams is the guy that I think this team, if they can model all their defensive backs after in the secondary as far as the safety position, that's who they want this team to look like. Larry Hillman says, I really like Savion Red, but they just don't use him outside of the Wildcat. Do you think he will see some carries now with Jonathan gone? I don't know. I don't know what to think. Because I think Jaden Blue has kind of earned himself some carries, and the staff hasn't used Jaden Blue a lot. But I think this is an opportunity for Jaden. I think Jaden Blue is going to step up and do some great things in this next game. But Savion Red is in the Wildcat package. I think that package is so predictable. I think this team needs to evolve that package, throw more passing plays out of it. He was a prior quarterback in high school. But yes, just let him run the ball. They're letting him run the ball on like kickoff returns, just to get him involved and get him mentally in the game. But we'll see how much Savion Red's going to use. He did have a stupid penalty, in the game on the sideline, getting into it with somebody on the sideline and cost us 15 yards. That's a penalty that when you're sitting on the bench, you can't have a penalty. So do the coaches kind of reprimand him for that too as well in this next week and say, we're going to go with who we trust to not make a crazy decision if something doesn't go their way. But Jaden Blue has shined every time he's gotten his opportunity to play. Yep. Paxton says defensive line can only hold up for so long. The secondary needs to step up. Now, look, Paxton, I will say this. Secondary does need to step up a lot more, but some of those sacks we had, they were kind of like some coverage sacks last week, and I think 1 or 2 this week. So defensive line got a lot of push, but our secondary is not horrible. They're a good secondary. We're just lacking some speed. And When you're lacking speed, you got to be technically sound all the time. All the time, you got to be technically sound. And that's just something that this team has not been technically sound the entire season. Look, it's understandable. You're playing 60 minutes of ball, man, and third and fourth quarter comes around. Now it's about who's the best condition because you're tired by that point. You're tired. You're dog tired, man. So you're going to be out of position. So are they. And it's a lot harder on the defense than it is on the offensive side of the ball, right? Because the defense, you're going to be reactive. You're going to react to what the offense is doing. The offense has the upper hand. One thing because of the way that that the games are called, but also because they know what they're going to do, and you have to react to what they're doing on the defense side of the ball. So the offense has the upper hand for the most part, unless your defense is truly elite, like Giants when Lawrence Taylor is there, like Ravens with Ray Lewis and Ed Reed kind of defenses. I just like how PK has everyone 20 yards out of. Hey man, hey, I'm with you. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Lon. Hey, I just saw the shirt and it says Oklahoma only fears God, Texas only fears Oklahoma. That's why I thought you were OU. So you got to explain that to me. I live in Oklahoma and have to listen to their fans daily, but still rock my Texas gear. Okay, got him. Hook him, baby. Hook him, hook him, hook him. My bad, man. Yeah, so Paxton, it's funny because McDonald is a linebacker who they've lined up playing cornerback this year in practice, who has also seen some time, I think, in the backhand in the backhand of the secondary as well. But this guy is like a freak. Like he can play linebacker, he can play slide, he can play corner, he can play safety. He's just a football player, man. So yes, he's a linebacker, if not mistaken, by trade or or what they want, but he is so versatile. Like I've heard reports of them having him lined up at cornerback. He is that kind of a player. He's a guy I would love to see play a little bit of safety because he's fast, he's instinctual. He just has hella tape coming out of high school, and you see the maturation process of his body too, man. He is bulking up. He's looking like a hell of a player. I'm not trying to dog our secondary, but you're right. They just don't have the speed. Yeah, we don't have the speed yet. It's going to come. It's going to come. But look, folks, even without this speed, we're 9-1. We're 9-1, folks. And I'm not putting that loss against Oklahoma all in their defense. We don't throw 2 interceptions and have a fun. If we don't have 3 turnovers, it's a lot different game, folks. We blow Oklahoma out. That's a lot different game. Just my opinion. My opinion. We don't have 3 turnovers. That game's not close. So that's one thing that I think Texas has to realize is, yes, we don't have a lot of speed, but we've made the best without it. This team is winning close games, and it's a lot more than we can say in the previous few years. One possession games, we're losing them in those last 3-4 years, folks. We are. One possession games now, yeah, I might get a heart attack, but I don't feel uncomfortable in these games. I still feel like we're going to win the game, which is something that is something that we couldn't say years ago. Cape says Jay Wood used to be a defense player in high school. Why not put him at? Nope, this is last year, man. You can't do that. This guy's been playing receiver his whole career at Texas for the last 4 or 5 years. You can't do that. That's asking for like career suicide. Fire getting no, man. Man, Rod Babers is living his best life on a couple podcasts. He's living his best life. I want to be like Rod Babers when I grew up. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, man, he's living his best life, man. Yeah. Yeah. X and Kobe Black. You got to get those two. Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Only thing, Sam, though, is we can't expect these guys to come in here and be the savior for this team as freshmen. Right? We see how good Anthony Hill has been this year. Outstanding, right? Outstanding linebacker. It took him 6 or 7 games to get to that level. If we start him from game 1 on, nope. Did you see what Sarkisian did to Caleb Downs in that game against Alabama? He abused that dude. He was a freshman. It's his second game of the season. He abused him. Could you imagine what Texas is going to next year in the SEC? Can you imagine what would happen to a true freshman secondary? They get picked apart. They would get picked apart, right? And Caleb Downs is going to be a first-round draft pick, folks. I mean, he has it in his pedigree. one of the best players in the country this past year to come out. Has in his pedigree. And Sark abused him all game because he was a rookie. He was a freshman, right? That's what would happen if you start those guys. And Anthony Hill didn't start a lot in the first half of the season. He played 20 plays, right? In and out, but they didn't count on him. They counted him in situationally. Now, as the season goes on, we count on those guys. He starts. We count on Anthony Hill to be the guy. He's proven that he can be that guy. Let's see what else we got. Sark was noticeably pissed in this morning presser. I think we choose to say probably so. If Xavier and Adonai show up again this week, Texas will have a good chance of winning. They are as good as a tandem as there is in the country. Exactly. And I think they're going to be really good this week. Quinn's back. The intermediate ball is going to be outstanding. We got to get the deep ball better. Man, if you gave Quinn Malik Murphy's deep ball throw, he'd be the perfect quarterback, man. Quinn's going to get it, though. Trust in Quinn. Get JT and Jordan the ball. JT got the ball pretty well. 3 catches on 4 attempts, man, for 41 yards at the tight end position. Jordan needs to get the ball. But if you give Jordan the ball, who do you take those throws away from? Especially in that last game, do you take those throws away from Xavier Worthy? 10 catches on 13 targets? Or Adonai Mitchell, 3 catches on 6 targets, all crucial. All those catches were crucial, right? Do you take those away? I don't think you do. Right? So, interesting. Derek Williams have been pretty good, but he's still too green. Yes, but that's my point, is you cannot have a bunch of freshmen running around. He is green, but he makes more plays than he doesn't. And that's one thing you got to love about him. Oh, man, $5 chat. What's up, Stay Woke? Stay Woke says, got a weird feeling that Whittington and Sanders is going to have a big game. I can see that. I think Sanders is going to have a really big game. I think that that 3-3-5 is going to lend itself to have a lot of the middle of that field and the sidelines open. I think this is a game that Adonai Mitchell really jumps off the page. And I think this is a game also that Sanders is going to jump off the page. He's a mismatch for anybody covering him. Cornerbacks are too small to cover him. Linebackers just don't have enough juice to cover him. I think Worthy takes the top off the defenses. He softens up the actual middle of the field there. I think JT Sanders eats good against Iowa State. And I think Texas runs the ball surprisingly well in this game. I think I don't know. Sark says he's going to keep the same game plan for running the ball. We all understand that CJ Baxter is not a zone guy. He's more of a gap guy, right? So just give him the ball and just let him go downhill. But if it doesn't change the way that we run the ball, maybe that's coach speak so that Matt Campbell can't really prepare for it. But if it doesn't change the way that we're going to run the ball, it's going to be interesting to see how effective our running game is going to be. I do like CJ Baxter. I think Baxter's going to have a hell of a game and a really good career here at Texas. I want to see him and Jaden Blue and Keelan Robinson and Red, who is going to be the guy to step up and take the bull by the horns, no pun intended, and do their damn thing running the ball now that Brooks is out. It's a big loss, but I'm telling you, man, I just got faith in Jaden Blue. I don't know why. I just got faith in Jaden Blue, right? So I'm with that too. Lon Bean says, I love Rod's passion. I bet he will be one of those coaches you will run through hell with a can of gas for. Exactly. A lot of energy, man. A lot of energy. Nino, the transfer portal will be huge. Hell, throw some NIL money at the TCU wide receiver. Hey, there's a couple wide receivers I want out of the portal. There's a couple. They got one in Houston I want. One in TCU. They got one at A&M whose coach just got fired. You know, guy that used to be committed to Texas. Hey, Evan Stewart. Hey, how you doing? Can we get Evan Stewart here for a year, man? Can you look, marry him up with Jonte Cook, man? Can we do that? That would be perfect, right? So anyways, yes, the portal's going to be jumping. And what Aggie players might there you go. Larry, you read my mind, buddy. I want Evan Stewart, man. Give me Evan Stewart. Give me Bryce Anderson for the safety position that has the range. We're talking about the speed at safety. Give me Bryce Anderson, who has the range to go sideline to sideline and play a hell of a defense. I mean, can you imagine him with Derek Williams in the backfield? Can you imagine that at the safety position? Can you imagine Evan Stewart kind of taking the position of where X was, or Evan Stewart coupled with Jonte Cook, or either move Cook to the slot, move Evan to the field, go to the portal, go get us a boundary wide receiver. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine that? That's what I like, man. Appreciate that, Lon. Appreciate that, man. That's what I want to see. But talking about transfer portal, I think this is going to lead me, folks, to what I really want to talk about. Instead of the transfer portal, I want to talk about the reports that maybe Quinn Ewers comes back this year. Well, next year for 2024, right, Paxton? So that guy in your avatar, Paxton, Quinn Ewers, maybe he comes back for the 2024 season. And we know we had some back channel discussions, me, Steven from, from FP and Homer and Nash and 40 and who else is on the chat with us this morning? Lando, um, TCU guy that's really good friends of ours. Locked on Longhorns. Man, we all have a group chat. We talk every day. You guys understand when you see the information that comes from all of us, like we've pretty much all discussed this stuff throughout the day, all day. It's kind of why our messages are so synced together. I'm giving you guys a little bit of the juice, right? But yeah, Karen's in there too. Man, we all talk. We're like brothers. Like literally, we fight in those chats. We talk shit to each other in those chats, but we love the shit out of each other, right? We're like brothers, and we always make sure that when we're at games, we always see each other, and we have a lot of fun together. Paxton, you can't join that group chat, man. You can't join that group chat. But yes, Larry says yes, bad man. But we were floating around the idea of Quinn coming back, and I'm like, that's awesome. Quinn comes back next year. It gives Arch and Malik another year to set aside and learn, right? I don't want either one of them going to the SEC next year having to depend to start for this team. I don't. I don't want to see Arch next year as a redshirt freshman having to play against Bama and the Oklahomas and the Georgias and the Auburns and the Ole Misses. I don't want to see that right now. I want to go into the SEC with a strong team. I'm not saying the team won't be strong with Arch or Malik starting, but I want to see this team go full throttle. And if this team comes back next year, we're looking Fellas, you there? You guys are back. There's Matt. Hey, I'm in Montgomery, Alabama, right? I live in Montgomery, and the power on my street just went out. So I'm just talking my ass off, and then the bam, everything in my house goes right. So, all right, so we're back open. All right, what's up, Phil? Yeah, man, we're back. We're back, man. We're back. What the hell just happened, right? Um, Yeah, I was talking about Quinn. Quinn, man. So look, if Quinn comes back, right, in 2024, folks, we're gonna have a hell of a man, look, a hell of a team. You look at the offensive line, everybody's back, except Christian Jones. But we saw what Cam Williams did without Christian Jones in the lineup. Cam Williams played outstanding, right? So you're looking at the offensive line. You know Kelvin Banks Jr. is going to be the starter. He's the starter, right, folks? At left tackle, at left guard. I think we have a battle at left guard, folks. I really do. Does Hayden Connor keep his job? Uh, is he pushed by Neto? That's going to be the key. That's going to be interesting. Does Jake Majors keep his job? Does he get pushed by Cole Hudson? We know DJ Campbell's going to be there, and we know Cam Williams is going to. This offensive line is going to be outstanding. Tight end is what I'm worried about. No JT Sanders. I like Gunnar Helm. I think Gunnar Helm's outstanding. JT Sanders is a different kind of freak, though, man. He just is. Sanders is a beast. Wide receiver, Jonte Cook. We're going to go heavy in the portal at wide receiver. Jonathan Brooks will be back halfway through the season. But look, he tore his knee up, man. We don't know how quick he's going to come back. You got to understand, man, he tore it at the end of the season. Those take about 9 months. Let's say even if it takes 9 months, you're looking at not really being able to play fully on that until August of next year, maybe June, July of next year, right in time for season start. It's going to be interesting. So, but the defense, our four biggest players that we're going to lose, and they're all big players: Sweat, Murphy, Jalen Ford, and Barron. Those are the four guys that will lose. I'm telling you what, man. I think Jalen Gilbo is going to be a very plus player. I don't think people are talking about it a lot. We're going to miss Sweat and Murphy, no question about it. Does Adair Mitchell, can he be the guy that takes up for that Sweat role and be that 345-pound guy that comes in and crushes people, right? Dewey, ain't no booger in my nose, chicken. Come on, chicken. Don't be doing me like that. Do we do that? Or, now look, chicken got me all off my thing. Does Alfred Collins come back? Does Vernon Broughton come back? Right? That's going to be the question. Secondary, we got reinforcements coming there. I like the way this team is constructed for the next year. I think this team's going to be good for the next year, especially if Quinn comes back. So Cape says, on a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous I am for Saturday? Scale of 1 to 10. I'm not really nervous. I think if this team comes and takes care of business, I think that we'll be fine. All right, Chicken Man, see you, brother. I think this team, I got Texas winning this game at Ames. It's going to be a tough game, right? It's going to be a very tough game at Ames. I see Texas winning this game. Sark has kind of figured out that 3-3-5. He's figured out how to neutralize it for about 3 or 4 quarters. Well, I'm sorry, not 3 or 4, for about 3 quarters. And it seems like, look, the teams can come back on us if they want to. But I got a feeling that Sark's going to utilize that pass a lot this game. Going to trust Quinn and do those short passes, the intermediate routes as well, and do great things that way. And if that happens, I think we have a great chance of winning this game. I think CJ Baxter has a good game. And I think Jaden Blue, I think he's going to make the best out of the touches that he's going to get. Larry Hillman says, I'm hoping that Cedric Baxter can show out against the Corn people along that way. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. I want to see how Cedric Baxter's going to do too as well, man. He's a talented guy. He just doesn't have – Brooks is special. I think people forget Brooks is very special. He's a special running back, right? Larry goes, hit that like button. Yes, man. Hit the like button, man. Wipe your feet before you come to my house, man. You're in my house right now, man. Wipe your feet, man. Wipe your feet before you come to my house. It means a lot. Yeah. Ring the doorbell before you walk in my door, man. So, yeah. So, in real seriousness, as the rep for Sooner Nation, we do not want anybody hurt, period. Brooks, prayers, remarkable individual, speedy recovery. Exactly, man. And Chicken, that's the same way to it. I feel about you guys too as well. These are, at the end of the day, no matter what team any of these kids play on, these are guys that are trying to get their education. We just want to see these guys play ball at the highest level and be able to utilize that to do greater things here at their next stop, man. Whether it is finishing college or in the league or whatever, but it's all about seeing these kids do some great things in college, man. And I'm excited about all of them. So yeah, injuries, I hate them. Kate goes, I know basically nothing on Iowa State, only that their quarterback has a funny name. I have no clue if they even are good or not. You know what? Ironically, they have gotten better over the year. I haven't watched a lot of Iowa State games. I'm not going to even lie to you. I haven't watched a lot of Iowa State games. I think I watched a little bit of the Iowa State versus Oklahoma game. I think it was closer to the first half, and Oklahoma blew them out. It's 50-20 or something like that, yeah, I haven't watched a lot of them either. Too consumed with Texas ball, right? And also SEC content. Quick plug for the SEC Connect every Wednesday night. Me, Steven, Chris with a K, Ty from ATS Sports, and Jay from Unfair Sports, man. We do that every Saturday night at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time. We talk about, SEC ball. So we got that happening. But yeah, I've been watching a lot of SEC ball lately, and the teams that we play, I usually watch them the week before. So I'll be watching a lot of Iowa State this week to see where Texas gets in there and how they fit in. So Chicken says Iowa State, that quarterback is better than the first string. He reminds me of a KSU quarterback. I could see that. Now that I did see a little bit of the previous game, not much. I could see that too. I could see that. Matt, what do you mean, man? In limbo. What do you mean? Yeah, just type of comment. So there you go. In limbo. Okay, yeah. I don't know what you mean by that one, man. But yeah, man, look, I am interested to see how this 2024 season is going to pan out because if Quinn does indeed come back, with some of the reports are suggesting that he might, I think this team is going to be poised, primed, and ready. And then that leaves opportunity for whoever is the second string quarterback. We'll pray that Quinn stays healthy. But if he doesn't stay healthy, we know that that's an opportunity for somebody to get some reps. That's opportunity for Arch or Malik, depending on who's going to be the second string quarterback, to get reps. Nino here reminds me of the KSU OC, if that makes. Oh, Klein. Yeah. Klein. What's his name? Kellen Klein? Colin Klein. Yeah. I remember him. Yeah. Colin Klein was a little baller, man. Tough as nails. But he ain't gonna be running the ball like that against us. We don't allow nobody to run the ball on us. Come on now. Yes, man. Jay Brooks has to stay now, man. You got to think about it. How can he's not going to be able to test? Not going to the combine because he can't test. Torn ACL. A team drafts him. He has to rehab. He won't be ready until after fall camp. So yeah, it just makes sense for him to stay. And it sucks for him because a lot of reports were coming out that he was going to potentially be the number one back off the board this year, right? So maybe even sliding to the top of the first. I mean, to the back end of the first round, second round pick, third round at the latest. Like he's that kind of talent, right? So kind of hate that, man. I hate that. I hate that for Jonathan Brooks, man. I hate it. Cape says, I heard that the ISU receivers aren't fast, and if their quarterback isn't mobile, yeah, man, I think we're good. But just something about this defense, I got to see it to believe it, but I got trust, man. Our defense played really good this year. 2024 schedule: Michigan, Aggies, Oklahoma, Arkansas. Who am I missing? That's all you need to talk about. Michigan, Aggies. Aggies going to have another head coach. Who knows who that's going to be? We'll tune in Wednesday. We're going to talk about that in the SC Connect. Oklahoma and Arkansas going to have a new coach. Man, look, those are some big primetime games, man. Let me pull up the schedule, though. Give me a second. Let me pull up that schedule, man, because that's going to be a pretty good – I think Texas's schedule is a little bit easier than Oklahoma. So I think me and Chris with a K looked at this a couple weeks ago. So Texas schedule for next year, folks. We got How about this? Let me just share the screen. I'm just going to share the screen for you guys. Share the screen. All right, you guys see the screen there? Let's see. All right, Texas schedule, folks. Next year, we got Colorado State, Michigan, UTSA, who won't have Jeff Traylor because he'll probably either be at A&M or Baylor. We got ULM. Oh man, so we do have 4 out of conference games. I hate that. Okay, then we go straight to OU. First conference game get OU, then Arkansas. Well, it's okay. OU, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi State, A&M, Vanderbilt. So that's our schedule for Texas. So the SEC games are going to be Oklahoma, Arkansas, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi State, A&M, and Vanderbilt. Really good schedule. Really good schedule. So it's going to be interesting. Going to be interesting, folks. I watched them against BYU, and they can play. They crush BYU, and their quarterback is accurate and has a quick release. They will be a tough up there in the Corn Cob City. That's what Larry says. So BYU isn't good at all. BYU is riddled with injuries and are on second string quarterback. Brooks go get that bag. Don't risk injury again. Rehab in Austin. Yeah, man. I don't know how I feel about that, Paxton, because he won't be able to test. And he only has, to be honest with you, Brooks has 10 games of film, 10 games of real film. Is that enough to get drafted? Is that enough to get drafted at a position where he deserves to get drafted? I think he comes back. Yeah, I think he comes back, man. I think he comes back. Yeah, very bad. So just like Not Beaver says, very bad timing for him as far as the injury. BYU has gotten worse since we played them. BYU has been that good all year. If OU doesn't hang 60 plus on BYU, I'd be extremely surprised. I think Oklahoma's gonna do their thing against BYU. Y'all better hope we don't see y'all again. I can say this: we ain't left. Man, Chicken, y'all, come on, Chicken, come on, man. You know y'all barely won that game. We down there gave y'all that game. 3 turnovers, still close. Sam 9-3 or 10-2 in my opinion. You talking about for next year's schedule? Brutal. I don't know if that's brutal. Look, man, that schedule. Okay, we got Michigan. Okay, tough. We'll beat Colorado State, UTSA, ULM. All right. Tough games are going to be Michigan. With Michigan's losing a lot of people. And they might even have a coach back in their team next year. They had somebody else in that team. But you got Michigan. You got Oklahoma. Arkansas is going to be, look, they have a new coach and their savior quarterback is gone. Florida's not that good. Georgia, yes. Kentucky will kill them. Mississippi State, kill them. Texas A&M, look, we might take some of their players, and they don't even have a coach yet. And Vanderbilt will kill them. We got 3 games that I think are going to be tough. I mean, like games that we should walk in and be like, this is going to be a damn. I mean, every week's going to be a dogfight in the SEC next year. No, don't get me wrong. But Georgia, Oklahoma, Michigan, those are going to be the ones that are going to be, no kidding, dogfights for us. Dogfights. Yeah, we ain't scaring any team. Okay, if Quinn Dare stays, I say 10 plus wins. Yeah, and I think Quinn's coming back. Losses to Georgia, Michigan, and someone else. Why you say that? Michigan's losing a bunch of talent. I can see Georgia. I ain't gonna even hate, but I can see us beating Georgia too. A lot of people didn't say that we were gonna beat Alabama this year. And Alabama's looking like they're playing the best ball right now in the SEC. You know what I'm saying? Well, I shouldn't say it. Georgia's playing the best ball in the SEC. Alabama's playing for the SEC West. Alabama's playing for the SEC championship game in 2 weeks. In 3 weeks, they will be playing the SEC championship game. And a lot of people said we were going to get our asses whooped by Bama. All right. We went to Alabama and won the game. Right. So I can see that. I can see us having a good game against Georgia. Whether we win or lose, we never back down. One thing that I think is going to really benefit Texas and Oklahoma. SEC plays man up. SEC plays man up. Man up. They don't do all that zone stuff. They're gonna play man up. And I think our athletes, we Oklahoma and Texas recruit at such a high level from the skill position standpoint. I think we're gonna match up pretty damn well in the SEC. It's no more this 3-3-5 stuff. It's gonna be that's what Alabama does. That's what Georgia does. They play man and it's mano y mano, player per player. And I think that's going to benefit Texas a lot and OU as well. Y'all over here talking mess. I ain't even put all that on there. Chicken and Schnell. Cape says, wait, how does SC already determine who plays her championship game when nobody else can do that? I know, but it's because it's mathematically possible. It's mathematically Bama can lose. They only got one more conference game. Their last conference game is against Auburn. They got they play Charlotte or Charleston or something like that next week, and then the week after that they play against Auburn. They can lose that game against Auburn and still make it to the SEC championship game based off their SEC record. So they're automatically in the game. Georgia's the same way. They have no losses, no conference losses. They play one other team, and they're going to have if they play who's their last game against. It's not a good SEC East team. So when they play that game, then even if they lose the game, their SEC East record is going to be better than everybody else's. Therefore, them and Alabama have already punched their ticket to the SEC championship game. That's it. That's it. It's just like if Texas was undefeated right now, then Texas would have punched its ticket to the SEC championship game. So yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. Look, Chicken, I agree with that too, man. I agree with that too. So wouldn't the ACC also be decided then? Louisville and FSU on top of it. Let me check. I think they're already, but no. And I'm going to say no because the SEC only has one conference game left. The ACC, both of those guys have two conference games left. And Louisville has lost one game already. Florida State could potentially lose two conference games, and that could change things, right? I think Florida State might have punched their ticket. I don't think Louisville has yet. So Louisville has to win out. So does I think Florida State can afford one loss and still make it in. So the SEC is weird because they have that they have like that warm up game before the rivalry week. So like A&M plays Abilene Christian next week. Alabama plays Charleston or Charlotte. Somebody they play Charlotte I think next week. So they play these scrub teams prior to playing the rivalry game, which screws everything up for everybody. Right. So that's the knock on the four out of conference games versus the three for everybody else. It's weird, but Texas played its very best game against our toughest opponent on the road. They play below their capabilities against lesser opponents like Houston. I don't get it. They play up and down to their level of competition. And that's the problem. We got to get to the opportunity and the ability to where we are, no kidding, putting foots on throats and destroying people the way that we should be week in and week out. Chicken says, in my opinion, how does Oklahoma able to play Texas in the Big 12 title game? Oklahoma State has to lose a game. That's it. And Oklahoma State plays Cincinnati and BYU. I don't see Oklahoma State losing. I think Oklahoma State has to lose a game. Either lose one game. Yeah, they got to lose a game because they lost one in conference, right? Let's see. Hold on. Let me see right now. Oklahoma State football. So Oklahoma State is what? 6-3 right now? Something like that. Hold on, I'm pulling them up now. Oklahoma State is 7-3. Okay. They lost two conference games. So Oklahoma State would have to lose to Houston or BYU. And the next two-loss team in the conference is Oklahoma. So Oklahoma needs Oklahoma State to lose one game. But Oklahoma needs to. They got to win out. And you guys play BYU and TCU, which you guys should. But Oklahoma State, if I'm not mistaken, Chicken, they got to win out. Or they have to lose a game for Oklahoma to get in. To you shorthorns, if we don't win the 12 title, we want you to demolish everybody. Oh, is that Chicken giving us a shout out? Yeah, that is true. Oklahoma State got killed by UCF. UFC, huh? Well, for Houston, they've been planning for us since the offseason. Same can be said for Tech and Baylor. They already said they'd be happy if they only beat us this year. Thinking, yeah, most definitely. But hey, fellas, man, look, it's 120. I mean, not 120. I've been on here for an hour and 20 minutes. It is currently 7:21 my time. So I'm going to get off here, man. I've been on here for about an hour and a half, man. Thank you guys for tuning in, man. It's been fun. I always like talking to you guys in this live chat, man. So, hey, you guys holler at me, man. You'll see me next week. I'm going to do a video here, too, about Wardell Mack's commitment to Texas and what that means here to the University of Texas here tonight as well. But, man, thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate you guys. Go like this video, comment, subscribe, and share. It helps me grow this channel a ton. Also, go in the description of this, man, and go click on the links to go get you some discounts on some products that I got coming out here, man. But I appreciate everything you guys do for me. Nino's Corner, I'm out. Salute to you guys.